Hello. Hi. Welcome.
Yay.
You're listening to a Band of Gamers podcast, episode 209. What? In this episode, we've got an ex-Nintendo big guy joining GameStop to give him a hand. Ooh. 2K football is coming back, but not in the way we want. Xbox Series X, removable storage. What? Another way for Microsoft to make money? Or a necessary based on a unique memory structure? And finally, PlayStation 5 system architecture was revealed. There's plenty to unravel in there. But most importantly, we can start to think about which one of these we want to buy. We've got enough information now, right, guys? Maybe?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, you guys are buying PlayStation 5, so why am I even having this?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And maybe some games if we have time. We got a lot of news in there. I'm Joel, your MC, one of your three co-hosts, recording in a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a shut-in right now, like a lot of you out there. Whatever we got to do to get through this. Joining me on this podcast journey from across the globe, my two best mates. First of all, from Vancouver, Canada.
Where spring has sprung.
You've used that one before, haven't you?
Yeah. There's spring every year, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All
Gold
right.
is gold, man.
That's Shane. Hey, Shane.
It's the first bit of a streak here with some gorgeous weather. 4 or 5 days in a row now, I think. Somewhere around there. I don't know. It feels good. The times I do go outside, it's very nice. Got to get that vitamin D. Very, very important. Make sure you get in your pick up some D3s if you can. Very, very helpful with everything going on.
It does feel good, man. Live through the winter, all those months, and that sun comes out first time in the spring. Oh, it feels so good.
Yep.
Can't wait for that to happen here in Birmingham, England. Fresh from rockin' at Rockfield Studios. It's Karl. Hey, Karl.
Hey, yeah, man. I've, a little lifelong dream, going to the same studio where some huge bands have recorded some albums, which, the likes of Queen and Robert Plant and Oasis. Went down to Rockfield in Wales, literally Saturday morning, just jammed out, recorded a new tune at in aid of charity motor neuron disease. We're doing a ton of stuff for that here, me and the guys. So yeah, hell of an experience. I've recorded a few times, but this was probably the pick of the bunch. Standing in the same spaces and sitting behind a drum kit in a room, thinking, who's recorded here? Who's been in this place? And we did it responsibly, in line with the government guidelines and all the rest of it. We've kept it to a bare minimum, just the necessary people. But it was nice to get away from everything just for a little bit and express ourselves. So yeah, but I'm back now and tired and just back to the grind.
Those initial mixes sound pretty good.
Yeah, I'll share those. Maybe we can chuck a track at the end of an episode in the future or something. We'll see how that goes.
Well, heck yeah. Well, before we get started here on the video game podcast stuff, let me get the elephant in the room out of the way real quick. Seems like it's been a lot longer than 2 weeks since we recorded. Hey, guys, so much has happened in the world since we last sat down and recorded this.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the olden days when people used to gather around the TV and watch sports?
Oh, man. I've been craving those days. Oh, my goodness.
Craziness.
When you could go shopping and just buy one pack of loo roll, them were the days.
Yeah, and not give yourself a heart attack while you're trying to get in and out of the grocery store so quick.
Amen.
Go to a pub, go to a restaurant, go to the gym, all that gone. Hopefully for not too long. We may have a stretch here where it gets to be quite difficult for a lot of us out there. I always thought I was an introvert, definitely kind of to myself, although I do a podcast, which is sort of a contradiction. But not being around people much lately, I miss my friends. I miss just being around others at work. It's been difficult. So it's one thing I'm learning. We need each other. So we're going to leverage this podcast like we've always have, right? It's a way for us three to hang out, to enjoy our friendship, the companionship, the love we have for each other. I think it's special, the bond we have formed, and also, hopefully, the bond we formed with you, listening. A lot of you have come through to the community. You interact with us on Discord or Twitter, let's lean on each other a little bit here, everybody. We're going to get through this. It's just depending on how long it's going to take. And hopefully we don't lose any loved ones in the process. And either older parents or grandparents, it's very difficult for them as we get through this. I know I'm calling my parents every day. Like, how's it going? You didn't go anywhere, did you? Staying in? How you feeling? Just making sure that all the people around me are safe. So I hope you're safe there, wherever you're listening, doing well. But please, let's all lean on each other. Let's play some community games. Jump into Discord. Let's hang out. Let's chat. If you want to talk, if you want to let it out, all the anxiety, the fears, we're here for you. I know we've been doing it with each other, but let's maybe jump on and have a beer, a virtual happy hour on Google Hangout or something. Let's just get together. I started a separate thread in our Discord just to hook up with each other and get some much needed distraction time with some good friends, some like-minded people. First of all, we're going to start recording every week for a little bit, for a time here. See how long this goes. And maybe not every week. We're committed certainly to every other week, but I know we all agree here that we need each other more than once every other week at this point. So we're going to do a weekly podcast for a while and a lot more online gaming together with the community.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you guys want to add to that heavy elephant in the room before we not talk about it again and just get to some good distractions here?
It's perfect, man. Absolutely perfect.
You've nailed it. I'd just say I was at a gig just over a week and maybe a week and a few days ago. So I would say it was before our regulations came in and everything, and it's a really difficult position. Bands face a telling time right now. We went to see Grand Major, so we saw a headline Bloodstock in Birmingham, and this is before any kind of sanctions and stuff, and you could kind of feel that that maybe it was going to be cancelled. The venue holds about 500. There was probably 100 people in there, and everybody was maintaining a certain amount of space from each other. It was quite a sobering. It was a good gig, but it was a sobering kind of indictment of where we are. You're ordering a beer from the bar, and you're not leaning into the barman or the barmaid to say, dude, get me X amount. You're kind of keeping back and you're pointing at what you want and showing two of these, one of these. It was a bit surreal. But, some of these bands now have had their livelihood wiped away. They can't tour. They've got merch printed. They've got T-shirts. They've got stuff that they want to sell. They can't physically get out and do it. So I'd just say, if you can, if you're able, support them. Maybe order a record or something for if you've got any smaller local stores and suppliers and things like that. If they've got online, do what you can to help the guys out. If you can if there's a band that you really do support, I guess they really need a bit of help, like a lot of people. But music's close to our hearts.
Yeah, well said. Local restaurants, local pubs, doing a lot of takeout, a lot of curbside pickup. Maybe do some takeout, help support your local businesses as well. If you're in a position like I am and like a lot of you are, we can work from home, thankfully. I'm not out of a job. So income's still coming in like normal. I got to make sure I help spread it out, help share with everybody. I'm wearing my Walt Hamburger T-shirt today for that reason, because he's unable to tour right now, and he's like, I could use some T-shirt sales. I'm like, all right, get me one. Been meaning to grab one anyway, so let's all do our part.
And let's all stay home. So important. All of us stay home. The more of us that stay home, the sooner this will be over. So do your part. You don't need to go out. Go get your vegetables. Eat right. Be in and out. If you need medication, get it. Other than that, stay home. There's plenty of stuff on TV. You got video games. You got music. There's lots to do. Hop on FaceTime video chats with people, and this will be over before you know it.
And one more podcast from us every 2 weeks. Get it every week now.
Woo!
Yeah.
Reggie.
Reggie Fils-Aime, formerly with Nintendo. Big guy on stage, always entertaining. Very respected in the video game industry.
He's like a Nintendo character of himself almost.
He is.
Right? He
Right?
just seems like a real
Yeah.
characteristic kind of dude. Yeah.
I would not have been surprised if he'd have turned up in Smash Brothers as a downloadable character.
There you go.
Right? And replaced by an actual Bowser. This is very, very weird.
Ooh.
But he has joined he's retired from Nintendo and retired from working, apparently. But that didn't last very long. He's now joining the board of directors at GameStop. So a company we've talked about quite a bit, struggling, and a very successful career in marketing, Reggie Fils-Aime. Let's see what he can do. I think that's a positive turn of events for GameStop. Now, they have a lot of people on this board. I think including someone from Pepsi and a lot of successful people there. That doesn't mean they're going to turn it around. But Reggie Fils-Aime, having that gaming background, I think would be a nice addition to that board of directors. Give him a fighting chance, maybe. We shall see. No comments.
Yeah, I mean it's couldn't found a better guy, to be honest. And it's Reggie. He knows a lot, and he knows what he's doing. So, but who knows? Like you said, who knows what happens with GameStop? Is it too late? And yeah, we don't know.
Currently closed with all the stuff that's going on. NFL 2K is back. This is pretty exciting news. It's returning in 2021. And of course, the internet went nuts with excitement because a lot of people are big fans of that series. Some people also think the Madden series has been a little complacent. No competition. They bought the exclusive rights to the NFL license. Sell a lot of games. Don't have that competition. Competition makes things better for everybody, right?
Keeps it fresh.
Raises the bar. Well, they've had zero competition for a long time. And when they bought the exclusive rights to the license, a lot would say that the 2K game was better. And perhaps why they ponied up and said, okay, fine, you make a better game. Well, we'll just buy the exclusive rights and you can't even make a game anymore. So there. And at that point, I think NFL 2K was like $19.99. Remember they did that? They came out like dirt cheap to get footing in the marketplace, only for that rug to be yanked out from under them. Well, they're coming back, but it's a, quote, non-simulation football game experience, unquote.
Yes.
Not a competitor per se with Madden. Madden keeps the exclusive NFL rights with simulation style football. So not sure if they're doing like a big, was it NFL Blitz style maybe, or like a street style like they're doing with the 2K basketball. No clue. But a little bit of a thud when I realized that's what that announcement was. Like, oh, they're back. No, they're not. They're just going to be making some other non-competitor to Madden.
Yeah, but it could be fun though.
Yeah, probably will be. In 2004 is when EA signed that 10-year deal with NFL with the exclusive rights. Maybe with 2K getting back on the periphery right now, doing some arcade style. Maybe when that 10 years is up in the near future. Maybe
2K always had really great presentation too. I know from 2K NHL hockey games, whatnot, their presentation of the broadcast and whatnot was always much better than the EA one, specifically the last NHL game they did. So when I heard this news, I was like, oh, sweet, hey, we might get another 2K hockey game at some point. Still, fingers crossed, anything can happen. Hopefully this does well and just gives a bit more variety for some of these sports games, because really, where else do you look for a football game at this point? There's not really anything else out there other than, was it like Super Mutant League or something, or unless you're a bit more of a retro fan, and then you just keep rocking Madden 94 all night, boys.
That was a good year on the Genesis.
Yep,
for the Madden. And I think I have a typo in my notes. 2004 is not when they signed the 10-year deal. It's probably 2014, because that 10-year deal is still in effect. So I'm assuming it's up in 2024, but I also think they're going to bring that I can't even talk straight. The truckload dump truck of money again to the NFL when it is up. Like here's more money because they have sold, as of August 2018, 130 million copies of Madden have been sold.
Decent.
Unbelievable. Xbox Series X has a removable storage memory card. So there is on the back of the console, there's a little slot that everybody was wondering about. Now we know what that's for. It's for essentially like a memory card style insert for SSD. So they have a special, what do they call it? The Velocity Architecture SSD drive in the Xbox Series X. All new Xbox Series X or Series X games require SSD. That's how they're programming or developing those games to run off an SSD. You can still use an external hard drive for your prior generation games, Xbox One, Xbox 360, original Xbox, those backwards compatible titles, you can run off of an external drive, just like you do now. But for any new generation Series X games, those all have to run off of SSD. And if you need more SSD space, you can't just go buy any old SSD drive and attach it or have an external option. You have to buy a proprietary card. Initially at launch, they're going to be made by Seagate. Apparently, it's a 1 terabyte card add-on. No prices yet announced. But the way this is reading, it sounds like it's because of the way they've designed their SSD that this is needed. Either that or it's them trying to make a buck. However, it's Seagate. It's a third party at this point, so I don't know how much money they're making off of that. I'm sure right behind the corner they're going to make their own first party memory card, and maybe there's dollars to be made there. Just curious if you guys had any thoughts on us going back to memory cards and not having like the external USB drive or the ability like we had with the PS3 to just crack her open and put in a different drive.
I think when we come on to the Sony one, it'll explain it a little bit as well. From the way I understand it is that you can still use a existing hard drive to plug in and have that as an external hard drive, but it would only run previous generation games. So I think that's the same on both. This is just, I think, another way of ensuring that the performance of the system continues. And obviously, they're both relying on this SSD, this new technology or improved technology from the, what we've got now. I'm not too keen. I guess the term memory card just sends a bit of a shiver down your spine compared to another hard drive. Like, for me personally, if I hear the term hard drive, I'll plug another hard drive in. Yes, it's going to be expensive, but they're generally pretty big. I think, with memory cards historically, even if you go back PS2 and up to the Vita, from a Sony point of view, I'd be kind of thinking, those are going to be expensive and probably not that big. So the fact that, one of these will be a terabyte, I don't know how much a terabyte is going to be of use on these new systems. These games are going to be huge. So I'll be reserving judgment, I think, in terms of both systems. I'm thinking, right, just how much are these things going to cost? Because you're going to be getting a terabyte or thereabouts with each console, and you're thinking, I don't know about you chaps, Joel, Shane, I've got a terabyte in the PS4 Pro. I've got another terabyte hooked up to it. Still do need to tidy up every now and again, download different games and re-download them. So I think I would need a minimum 2 terabyte on the new console, and also a HDD with this generation's games on it. So thinking as a PS5 owner, potentially, if that were to happen, I'd need an external hard drive plugged into a PS4 games on there if I wanted to play them on it. And then I'd also need the SSD that comes with, and also another SSD to mount into it. So it could be a bit of a money sink, as far as I'm concerned. I just hope that you're not talking you can get 5 games on 1 terabyte, because that would be might be a bit difficult.
And SSD drives are very expensive right at the moment. So I think an add-on 1 terabyte could end up being like $200. And I don't
Yeah.
know if they're using the term memory card. I did, because it looks like that and it acts like that. I think it might be called like expansion drive, or I forget the exact terminology they used. I went with memory card because that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Why not bring back the memory card? Come on, bring back the memory card. And then, because people don't like proprietary memory cards, because they're expensive or whatnot. So like, you remember when like was it on the PSP? He'd have them, but then they came out with all these like bootleg third parties to put like two cards together to get even more space and whatnot, and they would like always fail and whatnot. Yeah, let's bring back those days, man. No, let's not. I like the proprietary. Do it, then it works. You know it's gonna work. You invest a little money in there, you enjoy it, and it's solid. That's what I was like. Good solid memory card.
It's not the way I thought you guys would take this. So you're not thinking it's nefarious. It's not a money making thing. It truly is optimizing the memory,
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Kind of where I'm at too.
It is technological.
Man, I was trying to create some drama.
Dude, if I want to talk memory cards and drama, I'll moan about the Vita still. That thing is...
What's wrong with the Vita?
Okay, how cheap are those memory cards now? They're still the same cost that they were when it come out.
Yeah.
The thing's dead. So I love my Vita, but I wouldn't mind some cheap memory cards. You know what I mean?
Why? What do you need a cheap memory card for? Just go buy one, dude.
To put games on. Yeah, but the 64 gigs are expensive, dude.
So? Just buy it and then you never have to worry about it. And you just sell your other ones on, bootleg or whatever. They keep their value anyways. Sure. I actually do have a 64 in mine.
Ooh.
Right? I got it on I think I remember we did an episode and I was talking about this a long time ago. But yeah, I think I got off Play Asia. And it was like one day I had just happened to notice and it was like $100. It was really, really weird. And I had it like overnighted for like, and we had a strong Canadian dollar at the time too. So it turned out it was like $127 or something, which is still cheaper than you can find it, I think, for the most part right now. And that was right before they brought them over to North America, because I don't think you could find them over here at first. And it's rock solid. It works fantastic. It's great. Great little investment for Vita. I never have to worry about storage or anything. It's all that stuff's behind me. And I got a handful of like 4 gig and 8 gigs here. So I think I got an 8 gig still in its package I got somewhere. I don't know. Somebody probably gave it to me. People like giving me stuff for some reason.
You've got them stacked on top of all those SNES minis.
Oh yeah, I do have some SNES minis.
Yeah, really?
I remember that closet full of SNES minis. So I think you also can have your Xbox Series X games on an external hard drive, but you then have to transfer it to the SSD to be able to use it properly. So you can use it as like a backup to the SSD, but what's the point? If you just have to move it, you might as well just re-download it, right? Wouldn't that be the same sort of process?
Agreed.
Well, let's get into the PS5. The PS5 also has SSD capabilities and an interesting way of handling it with these add-on drives. Not a memory card, but a different approach. So Mark Cerny did a presentation, I think it was about a week ago.
Riveting.
Or so.
Presentation.
Decent.
Might describe myself away.
Tuesday, I think it was. Decent timing. A lot of us are home. All of a sudden, PlayStation's got some news. While everybody is sitting around looking for things to do or watch, here's a presentation. Apparently, this was meant for GDC, which was canceled. But to those of us who've watched it, if you watched it, it's like the exact presentation they would have gave the developers. Nothing to do with gamers, at least from a entertainment value perspective. They didn't roll out any games. They didn't show any screens of actual gameplay or graphics. It was all like PowerPoint style presentation, very business-like. Like if you work in the industry and you develop games and you want to learn how to develop for that platform, you learned everything you needed to know. If you're not in the industry, not in the business, you were bored and maybe a lot of it was over your head. I know for me, a lot of it was over my head. Like that's
same here. I started thinking like Cerny should be doing like the nightly news with everything that's going on because he was comforting. He could tuck you in at night, real nice. Just that real calming voice, and he did his thing.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, props to the guy. Like he talked for 50 odd minutes about technical stuff, like you say, Joel. Like it wasn't exactly something that you could absorb very easily, and it didn't really flow. But the man didn't make a mistake. He was very smooth. The delivery was great, and all the rest of it. So I think you got to give him some props for that. But this was pretty dull to watch. To be blunt.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at the end of it, you leave with knowing the specs, and you can do your side by side comparisons with Series X, which Digital Foundry did. We'll talk about that a little bit later. It's nice to see them laid out, kind of side by side, and get the nerd war going. We'll also talk about that a little bit later. The Mystery Science Theater 3000 style audience was very odd, where you had like the silhouettes of people sitting there watching this presentation.
Were you staring at one of the back of the heads to see if it would move?
I did, and it did.
Yeah.
Totally, dude.
Just never happened, though.
No, one of them moved. I saw some guy bobbing a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he fell asleep at one point.
Huh.
Not sure. Yeah, they're moving a little bit. It was really weird. That was okay. Was that fake? Were there real people there? I mean, I guess they're real people, but different. Well, besides the presentation style and it not being meant for a lot of excitement, just to go through the talking points, a lot of time spent on the SSD, which they had done previously, the importance of SSD and the upgrades it provides to the current gaming. A couple takeaways for me: the 5 gigabytes a second off of their SSD compared to Xbox's Velocity architecture, where you need that extra expansion memory card, has a 2.4 gigabyte transfer rate or speed off of the SSD. Almost double the speed loading off of that SSD for PS5.
That's crazy.
I feel like the more I get into this, guys, the more I think more embarrassed I'm going to be about how I don't understand a lot of this stuff.
Well, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Jinx.
So if you
Double
want,
jinx.
don't listen to us for the technical know-with-all of how these things are going to work. Please, Digital Foundry is an excellent resource. So let's refer to them for the expert analysis. That's not what you're going to get here. We're going to give you more of the casual man's approach to all of these numbers. But I did note that right away. It's much quicker with the loads than the Xbox Series X is going to have. No more installs. Installs. So like every other console under the sun, when it downloads, it's done. You do not have to any longer, like you get with the PS4, and the PS3 did this too, where you've then got to sit and wait for it to install.
And then once it installs on the PS4, then you get that magical copying where it actually installs the entire game again. And that can take forever.
So that's going away. That's pretty good.
Yep.
External hard drive, just like with the Xbox Series X, you can attach an external via USB hard drive, but only is going to play the backwards compatible titles. Your PS4 titles, which, by the way, they did announce it will have backwards compatibility for most games on PS4. You can play those off of the attached external hard drive. You do not need SSD for that, just like Series X was talking.
Cool.
Yeah. Jane's favorite, backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
PS5 games will require that SSD. And the system will support certain M2 SSDs. So expandable SSD storage is possible. You don't have to have the proprietary thing like Xbox Series X is doing. However, because SSD is a fairly new technology, and maybe Karl can chime in here being PC Master Race guy on the podcast, they come in different sizes. They're different depths, different speeds,
yeah.
different flash cards or something in those things. So they would steer you towards very specific M2 SSDs.
Because the PS5 has to run at a certain speed, and currently the vast majority of drives out there don't run at that speed at this time. Hence why they have to wait, and they'll let you know later, closer to launch, which ones will work.
Yeah. And like Joel indicated earlier on, these things will be expensive.
And there's no standard, I think is what he was getting at. There's no standard yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like they have to tell you which ones will work and which ones won't. But apparently there is an install bay in the unit. So if I gather this correctly, you're not, like with the PS3, you're not taking out a drive and replacing it with a different drive. I got the impression that there'll be a spot waiting for it if you want to plug it in. You guys get that as well, or am I wrong there?
Yep, totally. There'll be a built-in SSD. There's a bay for another SSD within the model, with the actual body of the console, from what I understand. And then if you want your PS4 hard drive, you just plug it into USB and just have that separate.
So maybe better than a proprietary solution. You just have to make sure you've got the right type SSD drive for it to work perfectly. We talked about this earlier. Backwards compatibility for PS4 games. Not all game code can handle the boost in processing power that the PS5 has. So they're going to have to figure out which ones will work and which ones won't. They weren't coded to run off of SSDs. So they have to
Fair enough.
They have to figure that out, even though, yeah, whatever. Maybe I said that wrong. You could be in an external hard drive and the PS4 game still might not work. He said,
it's a good thing that they bought that cloud service all those years ago that they're using for PlayStation now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Almost all of the top 100 PS4 games, and he referenced some site or something that has the top 100, and I don't know what the top 100 are and based on what, but most of those games will work based on their initial testing, apparently.
Anybody want to bet the two NAC games will be ones that'll work?
Oh, for sure.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's the time to play them, when you get that upscaled PS5 NAC. Oh, yeah. I've been holding back on that.
They talked a lot about the GPU, the graphics processor. They spent a lot of time talking about how teraflops don't matter. An obvious poke, I think, at Xbox having a higher teraflop number. Xbox Series X has 12 teraflops and the PS5 will have 10. But apparently they're clocking their 10 a little faster. And it could potentially run as good as a 12. This is where it gets a little fuzzy for me.
Same.
12.16 teraflops in the Xbox Series X, 10.28 teraflops in the PS5. Not that big of a difference. Pretty close to each other. Not sure. Teraflops is a new thing, right? I don't even know if that 2 almost difference is going to make that big of a difference.
I don't think anyone does now, to be fair.
And third parties who are making games for both systems, does it matter? They're probably going to just make it at the 10.28 and let it work on both. I don't know how that works. It's just graphics.
If that even.
It's just graphics processing, though, so it's not like they're plugging numbers into their development. They just use the power of the two systems, and they'll go to the lowest common denominator, I would imagine.
And also, I mean, these are for like the launch. It'll be kind of like the base editions for both Sony and Microsoft. Because in a year and a half later, there'll be a Pro, there'll be a Series Z, or whatever they call, which will have more teraflops, maybe 14, maybe 16.19. We don't know. We'll see that happening. I definitely see, this is just the base right out of the gate. And I think there's Sony might be cutting a few things out just to keep that price a little bit lower at launch to get that out and just focus on exclusives and just have a solid launch lineup. It seems to be is kind of what I get from these specs without knowing what any of these specs mean.
Yeah, I think their reliance on the SSD, they're saying that it's going to be, the idea is that it's going to be quicker than the one on the Xbox. I don't know. Obviously, he was pretty specific, saying, teraflops are great, but, they're not the be-all and end-all. And obviously they're going to say that if the numbers are less than Microsoft,
True.
The SSD, I think, will be important to a degree. And like anything, when these games come out, like when Cyberpunk lands on both of these, neither one will be pushed to the maximum. It's going to take a few years for that difference to really tell, I would imagine, unless Sony have really got it wrong from day one. But again, it's hard to see. It's hard to see that there's that much of a difference between the two. But the numbers that come out, they are interesting. I think as things move along, we'll get to see a little bit more. I'm quite keen on this no loading time, no reaction time, all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be important for me. But some interesting stuff that came out of that.
Yeah, he talked a lot about, Mark Cerny did, the developer-friendly kit again this time around. They're far away from where they were with PS3, and it took developers many years to figure out how to master that architecture. They're again very friendly towards developers and having a easy to use architecture, a common architecture. So both of these are PC pretty much based style architecture. There's a lot of bit by bit. Again, Digital Foundry did a great chart that showed both back like side by side. Both have 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. The bandwidth memory is fairly close, very confusing, actually, the way it's laid out. They've got 448 gigabytes a second. Xbox got 10 gigabytes at 560 and 6 gigabytes at 336. So it's almost apples and oranges there. Internal storage, the PS5 has 825 gigabytes. Xbox, 1 terabyte. A little bit different there. Same style SSD drives. The I/O throughput, or how quickly it's loading in off the SSD, talked about this earlier, 5.5 gigabytes per second for PS5, 2.4 for the Xbox Series X. A little bit of a difference there. The expandable storage, there's a slot for another SSD in the PS5. The Xbox Series X has that expansion card. They both support the USB hard drive for prior system generation games or just backing up. They both have 4K UHD Blu-ray drives. That's something new for Sony.
And I actually looked to make sure they both did have that, oddly enough. That's like the one thing I can't understand in a lot of this stuff. Well, I mean, a little bit, but I'm not Cerny. But yeah, no, that's great to see. We can all go and replace our entire Blu-ray collection. Not.
No, you don't have to do that. It'll be a benefit for gaming, though, to have that additional space. And hey, for the first time, PlayStation fans will be able to watch 4K Blu-rays on their console. That's a plus. Those do look pretty good.
They do, yes.
Not worth replacing entire collection. Have you gone back and watched DVDs at all lately?
Yes, I have.
Remember how we thought those were so great? Now that we're spoiled with Blu-ray and the 4K, it's like they look like garbage. It's crazy.
Well, it was a huge jump from VHS tape, though.
It was.
I mean, it was massive. And then, the Blu-rays were quite a big jump over a DVD. Now I don't see the gap being as big as it was there. But yeah, when DVDs first came out, holy crap, do they look good.
They look fuzzy on the 4K TVs, though.
Yep, a lot of them do, yeah.
And I'm not going out and replacing them. Like, that's great. Fuzzy is fine.
Yep.
That's good.
Well, a lot of them will never see a HD upgrade at all or anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've got a ton of, especially music, like live gigs and all the rest of it.
Yep.
you'll get a load on really, really fuzzy, really crackly, crappy DVDs, but you're not going to, no one's going to be upgrading those. So yeah, you've got what you've got, and that's fine by me. As long as they still play DVDs, that'll do.
Here.
They both got HDMI 2.1s, which our friend Dave Barzanek wrote to me on Twitter and said, dude, it'll be years before the 2.1 is even important. Because I was talking about that last episode and how we all got to go and replace our TVs. He's like, nah, man, it's just future-proofing it. We're ways off from that even mattering. So thank you for reassuring me, Dave. Thank you so much. I was like, no, just bought a TV.
Yeah, it just ruined his shopping experience. He had an 8K telly in his shopping cart there.
And not to be discounted, Mark spent a lot of time talking about 3D audio. I didn't quite understand any of it, but he spent a lot of time talking about the audio capabilities on the PlayStation 5. I haven't heard Xbox talking much about, at least not to the extent that Mark went into it. So trying to, I know Xbox is gonna be in bed with Dolby Atmos. They're already doing that a little bit on the Xbox One X. They'll probably do that a lot on the Series X. Whereas PlayStation's thinking or is talking about, we don't need you to have a certain type of stereo and speaker system. You want to play with headphones, you want to go through the TV, you get a sound bar. We're going to give you great audio on all of the above. We talked about it being a game changer.
Yeah, I think the important thing is that it's not a drain on the GPU and on the graphics processing part. So I think both Sony and Microsoft have confirmed that the part responsible, the chip responsible, will be separate, and it kind of runs its own. I understand it doesn't drain or perform a big drain on performance. So that'll be the key thing. But I think it's the same again on both consoles.
So no competitive advantage there. I know you spent a lot of time on it. It led me to believe that it was like a competitive advantage when you spend 10 minutes talking about audio capabilities.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I think Xbox have said already it's a separate chip in the Project X, so it won't impact performance unless the 3D audio that Sony is saying is better in terms of quality. That I guess we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, who would know at this point? All right. Yeah, there you go. That's the 50-minute presentation in a nutshell. And many, many other technical things that sort of like, if I'm a developer in the biz, I totally would know what he's talking about. If I'm just a casual fan like I am, I have no clue. Just give me the box, make it look good, sound good, and work. There you go.
Here.
That's what I want.
Make it pretty.
Yeah, make it pretty. Still haven't seen what it looks like. I guess they'll come at a later point. Also haven't seen any games yet. I think this generation is going to come down to what we all expect it to, and just like the last generation, the current generation, I should say, PS4, Xbox One, it's the games and it's the services. Because the machines both are going to run pretty much the same. Xbox may have a slight advantage here, Sony a slight advantage there, but you round it all out, and it's like, yep, they're both powerful machines with ray tracing and good audio, and going to be very similar machines. Where PlayStation's going to have an advantage, however, is price. That's what the experts are saying, is that they've designed the system with maybe a little bit lesser teraflops in the GPU and a little bit smaller of a hard drive for the sole purpose of pricing it a little cheaper than their competition. And Shane hit on that earlier. I think that's what's happening here, but those differences being minute. When you're shopping and you're a consumer and you're more casual, or maybe you don't even know much, you're in the store and just like, PS5, that's one higher than PS4. I need that. And oh my God, it's $50 cheaper than the new Xbox. Done. Purchase. $50. That's, as we learn this current generation, that's huge. And it was $100 difference, I think, this current generation, right?
Yeah.
Big advantage. Don't know if it's going to be 50 or 100 or what the difference will be. We still don't know the prices of these things. But it looks like Sony is playing the same hand that they did last time. They want to offer a similar power with great first-party titles. Third parties making games for their system just like they are the competition, only their system is cheaper. Anyone? Shane, Karl, hello. You guys with me? Come on, help me out here. I can't talk anymore.
I think the games are going to be the big seller for me. So I'm not, whoever has the most expensive, for me, it doesn't really come down to price point. I think Sony will launch cheaper. I think Microsoft haven't really said anything about the pricing of it, but I think when it's backwards compatible, when they've got Game Pass, they've got a lot of kind of things that mitigate the fact that you've got to buy games for it. And let's not forget that there may not be too many exclusives and all the rest of it in terms of actual software. So they are going to be reliant on that existing lineup. They are going to be reliant on the Game Pass. So if it comes with no game and it's a bit more expensive, but you've got the library, you've got a bit of game, a bit of free Game Pass on it, I think that'll be the thing. Sony, will be looking at the games. They will be looking at the exclusive titles and hoping to come a little bit cheaper. I think it's a fair assessment given on the specs that we've got as well. Be very surprised if Sony are more expensive.
Same here.
Yeah, the nerds will love it. They're already loving it.
Dude, the nerds have been in full force, which has been one of the things I've enjoyed the most about this whole console debate.
It is kind of fun to sit back and just watch the proverbial shit show go down between the in comment sections of whatnot. Some of the unbelievable, some of these guys.
But when in days gone by, and we remember the different console generations come out, and obviously you're limited by technology. You used to be like, oh yeah, my console's better than your console, my dad's bigger than yours, and very kind of verbal or just text messaging and things like that. I love that that we are in the era of the meme and gifs and all that, and some of this stuff makes me chuckle. So we know that Microsoft supporters and fans of the consoles have had it a bit rough, for the beginning of this console generation. Microsoft have come back a little bit now. They're the stronger of the two, you could argue, in the past few months, going into the end of the console cycle. Now, the power difference between the two consoles on paper, it's all about the teraflops. That's people hook onto keywords, and it's helped to step up that nerd battle a little bit, which I think is brilliant. For some of my favourites, show this is coming from the Xbox fans, where you've got The Rock when he's kind of first going into the WWE, and he got so that's your PS5 Rock, and then Xbox Series X is The Rock now. He's like twice the size. He's wider, stronger, bigger, and it's just one of them. You look at it, it's a nice side by side comparison, and you think, it just tickles me. Similar with
it's like, is that even the same dude?
Holy God. Yeah, it's like, that's what you're gonna get. Like, you're gonna get real Rock, man, if you get the Xbox Series X. There's a little picture as well. I've put a couple of these in the show notes so the boys can see these. There's one of like the still from Senua's Sacrifice 2, which is coming out obviously on the new generation, and there's kind of a blurry image of a kid pulling the similar face with the PlayStation logo on it. And again, these side by sides are the things that kill me. When people are just doing that. Some people are less creative. There's a coffin with the PS5 on it being carried by some crying Sony fanboys, which tickled me. But my favourite of all of these was, and I put this picture in there, which is basically it's a great Photoshop. This one, it's the current kind of I guess the design of the the PS5, the one that the dev kit design, the one you've seen floating around. It looks very a bit strange. It's kind of got like a big U going into it in the middle, and it's kind of like got high sides, and they've photoshopped it onto a Dyson, which looks brilliant. Like you could blink and you miss it. You could think that was actually a vacuum cleaner. That tickled me the most, I think, from the ones I've seen online.
These are awesome,
brilliant, man.
But Sony fans did fight back a little bit. There's the one where the Xbox Series X has been turned into a bin. So you just see the lid is hollowed out, and there's a little bin bag kind of on the edges and stuff, which made me chuckle a little bit. And there's a couple of side by side comparisons again going the other way. Sony fans are going, "Oh, this SSD is going to make all the difference," and they've got a GTA running on the PS5 and then rolling it back to a previous game, probably San Andreas or something. With the Xbox Series X on there. Again, just saying that SSD is going to make the graphic fidelity much more improved over the Series X. But my other favourite one is and I've put this in, I haven't put any context on this to Joel and Shane really in the show notes. It's just a picture of some sheep. Now on the left hand side you've got a picture of a crowded field with loads of sheep in it, and on the right hand side of this picture you've got a field with one sheep in it. And this was a Sony fanboy's response saying, on the left, with all the sheep, is Sony's PS5 exclusive titles, and on the right is Xbox exclusive titles into next generation. I thought that was pretty clever because that's not even using video games as a reference, really. There's a black sheep in there as well in the Sony one, so I don't know if that's going to be NAC 3 in there, the black sheep of the Sony family, I think, on PS5. But probably my favourite of all of those is the Nintendo fan response. They've listed all of these specs. Said, here's all the Sony specs, here's all the Xbox specs, and the Nintendo one just literally says Animal Crossing New Horizons. That's it.
Woo!
Yeah. And we'll be talking about that on the next episode, I think.
Brilliant. Yeah, I want another week with that game.
Same.
If anybody's interested in playing some Animal Crossing New Horizons, let us know. I'd love to get some 8-player with a brew, hang out one of these evenings, play some Animal Crossing's New Horizons. So if you're enjoying that, please let us know. Let's jump in. Let's play together. Check out my island right now, which is very sparse because I need some more time with the game. I jumped into a friend, my friend Dan, jumped into his daughter's game today, and she had everything. Bridges, ladders, all sorts. I got nothing. Nothing. So hopefully I get my game going here.
Did you guys see Plank Fan's tweet of his Animal Crossing room? And
oh, yeah.
Put all the Jeff Rosenstock album covers up on his wall. That is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
That's epic. Did he design all those? I mean, that's amazing.
That's a lot of work. There is the option in there to create your own textiles and stuff you can pop on the wall, but it must have took him some work.
Yeah, like they look fantastic. It's unbelievable. Definitely check out his feed. It'll be in there. Just brilliant. So cool to see.
It's amazing. I was shocked when I saw that. I'm like, holy crap! That design tool must be pretty decent because those covers look fairly accurate. I will dump these memes into our show notes on our website. So if you want to check out all the memes we just talked about, it's 8bandofgamers.com/episodes/209. Or just go to our website, 8bandofgamers.com, and just look for it. It'll be right there on the front page. Look at episode 209 and see all these memes. These are fantastic. You got to see these. These are hilarious. Well, Animal Crossing, next episode in a week. But Shane, Karl, you guys got some games you want to talk about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've dusted off the Switch, so now I'm isolated at home, which for me is actually I'm kind of digging it. I'm all right with this. So I've lost my commute time, so I can roll out of bed, a similar time, and I'm like, I've got an hour to kill in the morning, same at night. I'm kind of like just sat here thinking, do you know what? I'm going to have a lunch. These are kind of novel things, really. So my Switch is right there, and I'm thinking, this is a good time to, we've got this humongous backlog. I can take advantage of that and try and, get in a bit of gaming in my free time. And I picked up, I had it for Christmas, actually, the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. And I saw Joel when we were hanging out last year, at the end of last year, and you were playing this on the Switch, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks really cute. Like that's the Zelda I want, and rather than the Breath of the Wild stuff, the old school, Zelda game. And so I've been playing a little bit of that. I didn't play this on the Game Boy when it came out, so this is kind of all new to me. This game is kind of brand new. I think I'm 2 dungeons in so far. It's super super fun. I kind of like the way it flicks between the overworld sections, and then sometimes you've got kind of side-on sections as well, like little kind of platformy bits in the dungeons and things. I think that's pretty cool. Find it a bit difficult really to figure out where I've got to go. It doesn't hold your hand very well, so there's a bit of exploration around that. But that's fun anyway. Just a bit of traipsing back and forth, and surprised there was some fast travel in there as well, just like kind of little teleportation pads you can jump around. But I think it looks really, really cute. It looks really good. I think they've done a hell of a good job with this port so far. It is in my backlog. I don't know if this is one I'm picking up to play necessarily in the backlog at this moment in time, but I think it's one I'll chip away at over the course of the year. I think there's eight dungeons, maybe something along those lines, 8 instruments to collect. So I shall keep jumping in there in between Animal Crossing, I think. And I'm pleasantly surprised by it. I've wanted it for a while. Very intrigued watching you play it, mate, and I thought I'll jump in, give it a go. So, yeah, very, very pretty game. Nice little trip down memory lane, and get a bit of a new story as well.
The Switch has been great for this isolation, whether you're on the couch, next to your TV with your main gaming setup, or if you're just off in a different room or sitting outside getting some fresh air. Things been great. I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, working on my backlog. Shit has sort of hit the fan here with what's going on in the world. Just the heaviness to it. I just wasn't in the mood for gaming. So I chose the comfort food gaming route. So I started over Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda.
Ooh.
I'm playing that now for a third time. Yep.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
It's a 10, Karl.
We would agree to disagree. But what I will say about the Switch, you are bang on. Some of the games I've got in my backlog, most of them are RPGs, so there's nothing super heavy in there. But I do find that kind of pick up and the instant on of the Switch, like boom, you're in. And the lightheartedness, I think, of the Nintendo games is kind of what's drawing me to them at the minute. That kind of pleasant little jaunt. There's nothing too intense and too real worldy about it. So I'm definitely going to be hammering that Switch, I think, over the next few months.
Shane's got one on the list here that I'm not sure it's lighthearted, at least by name. But I'm anxious to hear about this one, Shane.
It's it's pretty lighthearted, I guess you'd say. Riddled Corpses EX. Ooh. Twin stick zombie-esque shooter. And it's done in like 16-bit style graphics. Really, really cool. Real charming. By far, probably not the best twin stick shooter ever made. But it's been fun and just kind of mindless to go and just shoot stuff and blow up zombies, kind of like Dead Nation-esque type thing. One thing, it can get a little frustrating at times because you're going to have to redo levels over and over. You're going to die a lot, but as you go through the levels, you earn gold, your currency, in order to purchase, upgrades and, dynamite, health packs and whatnot in order to get through said level. So you are going to go, and there's runs where I'll go through I'm still going through the first level and just to pick up currency, and then once I started leveling stuff up, getting more, then I started to really start kicking some ass. And then you beat the boss and you're back to kind of the beginning in the second level where you kind of have to go and collect more money and upgrade. And so it can be a bit of a chore, but that 16-bit kind of graphical charm keeps me playing. And I'm still having fun with it. And neat little game. I think it's on the Switch too. Or not the Switch 2, but the Switch as well.
Whoa, Switch 2 confirmed.
Yeah, heard it here first, kids. No. Yeah, so playing that, and then just getting on with Massive Attack. I mean, we've had a few nights just playing Uno. I think that'll be another night tonight, and just chatting, just checking in with everyone. I know they're getting hammered pretty hard out there in New York, so
man,
it's good to just get on, just have a beverage and just chat, and before you know it, the time's passed, and day by day, boys, day by day, and we're getting through it. We're doing it. We're getting through it already.
If you need some new music to get through it, Brad's back with another recommended album we put out there last time, and he just put up his review. So go to our website at bandofgamers.com. Check this out. Wayne Kramer and the Pink Fairies with Cocaine Blues. Kind of a mixed bag there. A Wayne Kramer collage of tunes. Some live stuff, some studio stuff. Really like the live high energy blues thing that he had going on with that band. Almost garage sounding recording. But I really enjoyed that. Side A was all this live stuff, and then side B some studio.
Yeah.
So check out his words. And he included our words, which we're all slacking these last 2 weeks. Got so much going on. I think none of us had the time, unfortunately, to dig into the record, and the community also didn't dig in and respond. But he announces the album, and then we put it on Discord, just like we used to on the show, and drop some comments in there. He'll include them in his blog post. Next album, you've got 2 weeks, if you're listening right away, week and a half probably, to listen to this. Drop some comments into Discord. It's the Bomb Pops have a new album out called Death in Venice Beach. No, Shane's a big Bomb Pops fan, right?
I guess, yeah. No, they did all right. Their last record was pretty solid. Definitely a fan. They got a great drummer. Palmer, you should I don't know what you should, but you should, because they have actually their drummer's awesome. I really enjoy them listening to him. He's good stuff. But yeah, Bomb Pops, man, good one. I have not heard this album yet, so I'm looking forward to diving in and submitting my thoughts on our Discord, which you should do.
I shall be the recommendation for a good drummer. I can't pass that up, so I've literally just added this to my Spotify. We've been talking, and I should be listening to this while I'm working away over the next week or two. And I'll tell you what, this is great for listening to music as well. Conference calls and things like that aside. When you got a bit of time on your own, just put the tunes on and while away. I've been listening to a rather nice little record, chill record. New album by Code Orange called what's it called? Underneath, which it's super heavy, but it's full of really interesting stuff. Like, it's full of sprinkled in lots of cool little things in there. If you're a metal fan, check it out. It's a fantastic record.
I've been on a giant metal kick, just nonstop metal ever since seeing Mr. Bungle and Scotty and Dave Lombardo in San Francisco. It's just my metal roots have arisen. I'm back to where I was in my teens and 20s, jamming all that great Slayer and Megadeth and Testament, Death Angel and Anthrax and some Metallica before they sucked. All that good old metal stuff.
Oh, man. Actually, there's another album that I haven't listened to yet, Deep Lips. Band called Deep Valley, which a two-piece.
Yes,
really dig them girls.
Oh yeah,
and a couple of members of the Flaming Lips have come together to make a record. Not listened to it yet. It's also on the list to try and get through in the next week or two. So I'll let you know.
Cool. As always, you can email us, abogpod@gmail.com. We're on social media, barely limping along, except for Instagram, where Shane's killing it. But our Twitter feed and our Facebook's pretty pathetic. But maybe you can help us out.
So come check it out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Sold.
Yeah. All the great podcasts do the social media thing and get it out there. We're like, listen to it. We're too lazy to tweet Facebook. At least I am. Got no interest in that. But Shane on Instagram, that's where you need to check us out. At A Band of Gamers on Instagram. That's our social media presence. Shane's killing it there. Man, takes a good photo and adds a lot of great stuff to that. Even went as far as buying the albums that Brad's been recommending and then sharing them on Instagram. Now, that's a commitment, Shane. That's a commitment to the social media that I don't have. And Karl probably not either. Judging from the tweets, lack thereof.
Yeah. Fair.
Maybe not this last one.
No, actually, no. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. No, Brad's super cool, and he takes some great photos of the albums that he does, and we definitely make sure they're there for all our listeners to check out, regardless. So,
that's what it is. Well done. Nice coordination.
It's a team. It's a team effort at ABOG. So
that's right. Well, thank you for listening. Let's lean on each other. Please reach out now more than ever before. Jump on our Discord. Hit us up on social media where we're very active, and or send us an email. You can also leave a comment on our website. Nice spot to do that on this episode post, Brad's recommended albums. But we'd love to hear from you. Let's hold each other up through this long, homeward, stuck in time frame.
After we all wash our hands
while singing happy birthday twice.
And
if you're interested in seeing where I recorded this weekend, go and watch the Supersonic documentary, the Oasis documentary, which is in itself a great watch. Definitely should check that out. It's on Netflix. I think it's on Amazon, all the rest of it. You got time to kill. Why not?
We'll be back next week rather than in 2 weeks. Can't wait. See you later.
Hell yeah. Woo. Can't give that woo more on. Woo.
No, I don't have my. I don't have the robe. You gotta have that pink. Nature boy. Yeah, and you have that. Yeah.
I'll let you off then.